Hey, I'm Brendan Moran.
And I'm Ruby Lopez, and welcome to Creek Currents.
This month, we've got some tips on how you can prepare for El Nino, plus the story of how a famous artist made his mark right here in Walnut Creek.
But first up, I show you how to become an expert on local art and history simply by taking a walk. Today I'm hanging out downtown and I'm learning all about the new mobile tour, Walk Walnut Creek. Now to find out more information, we've caught up with Karen Majors. Now she is the president of the Walnut Creek Historical Society. So Karen, tell us all about this great new feature.
It's a wonderful collaborative effort between the Public Art Commission and the Walnut Creek Historical Society to get people out enjoying the heritage and the public art that's in downtown.
So Karen, how does the mobile tour work?
It's actually, Ruby, it's really easy. You simply go to one of the Heritage Walk signs or one of the public art signs, you dial the number, they will text you an access code, you simply tap on that code, and voila, you open up to a wonderful, colorful homepage, and you can choose to do one of 3 public art walks or one of 6 heritage walks. And you certainly just tap on the one that you're at and you listen to it. But if you don't even have a smartphone, you can simply walk up to the sign and read. It's a wonderful short story of the importance of that particular site to the history of Walnut Creek.
Very cool. So not only getting to see historical photos and you're getting this information, you're getting all these stories. So how did you gather all these stories? That's what I'm really curious about.
It was a lot of work. We have 5 dedicated volunteers at the Walnut Creek Historical Society. They're some of my fellow board members. They spent hours upon hours looking through archives, finding photographs, and coming up with scripts and signage. Hopefully people will notice it. It's a wonderful opportunity to get out and explore your downtown and learn about your history.
Well, great. Thank you so much, Karen. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Now we're talking with the public art manager, Stephen Huss, and we're talking about the app. It's really exciting. So talk to us about how the app works.
Sure. Well, it is combined with the historical tour app, so it's the same site. When you go on the site, you can either choose historical sites or public art sites. And it is approximately 30 stops throughout downtown Walnut Creek and a little bit outside the city of public art installations that you'll see.
So maybe people here at the library, they see this beautiful installation, Journey of a Bottle, and they want to learn more about it. What could they expect to see about that?
Well, yeah, on the app, the artist Marta Toma talks about her work, and that's the most exciting part. Of course, she's more articulate than I can be about it, where she talks a little bit about her concept, but I will just try to sum up that she says that the form of the piece, this kind of circular form, is a metaphor for the journey, the transformation of this bottle, which starts as sand, is converted into a bottle, eventually, we hope, is recycled. And of course, it is made of recycled bottles. And so a number of the artists talk about their pieces on the app.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, why is public art so important? Why are you so passionate about it?
Well, that's a great question. There's many reasons why public art is important, but I mean, it can make a place more beautiful, increases the vibrancy and vitality of a city, also really contributes to the sort of personal identity of a place. And some of the best public art is all about placemaking, and it's hopefully unique to the location. I think the thing that I'm most passionate about actually is working with artists. I love it when I can help an artist realize his or her vision in a public space, and often artists work sort of on their own, and their work is shown in galleries and studios, and public art is a whole nother kind of animal, and it's sort of an evolutionary thing for some artists. They interact with community, and their work evolves and changes a great deal in the public realm. So that's fun to see a successful project realized.
Okay, well great. Stephen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, I had such a fun time learning all about Walk Walnut Creek. Now, if you want to learn more about the local history or arts, all you have to do is dial the number on one of the signs here, and you too can walk Walnut Creek.
Ruby, that's a really good idea for checking out downtown. I'm going to have to do that.
You should, and make sure you visit the Hand of Peace. You can see the sculpture behind this incredible story.
One piece of art can have many lives. This massive monument, made by one of America's most important sculptors, was rejected, coveted, and resurrected. It is the Hand of Peace. To know peace, you must first meet its maker. Beniamino Buffano. Born around the turn of the century, Buffano was an Italian-American sculptor famous for his large-scale works representing peace. This prolific prophet has over 500 works in the Bay Area alone. He's been called one of the few enduringly important American sculptors, a true legend and genius. In 1902, as a child, Buffano immigrated from San Felice, Italy, to a tenement in Greenwich Village. The son of a devout Catholic mother and a revolutionist father, Buffano was instilled with a strong sense of social justice.
That's my point in practically everything I do.
Buffano made massive art for the masses. He said art should be big enough to belong to everybody, too big for anyone to put in his pocket and call his own. While many sculptors were holding on to the romanticized realism of the Victorian era, Buffano was a modernist. His often large, smooth shapes won over admirers and caused controversy. He had traveled the globe and studied the towering sculptures of India, Thailand, and Cambodia. After seeing the world, he sought to capture the universal. Buffano was a passionate pacifist, eccentric, and raconteur.
Yes, right.
In 1917, the U.S. entered World War I. Buffano, who was only 20 years old, was already starting to receive fame and acclaim. He had contributed to the World's Fair Palace of Fine Arts and the Buffalo Nickel when he accidentally cut off his index finger. He then mailed his trigger finger to President Woodrow Wilson as a protest against the war, and let the legend grow that the entire stunt had been planned. But behind the headline-grabbing antics was a serious artist dedicated to social change. Buffano believed artists had a role in combating violence. After the assassinations of Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert Kennedy, Buffano melted down these and made St. Francis of the Guns. Perhaps because of the constant reminder of the loss of his own finger, Buffano's work often wove in the symbol of the open hand. Hand gestures for peace and love are universal. For Buddhists, an open hand symbolizing peace is known as the Abhaya Mudra, an image Buffano saw repeatedly during his travels to Asia. Buffano's beliefs made him a favorite son of the bohemian city of San Francisco. In 1962, the city commissioned him to make a public sculpture. As the U.S. was once again starting to enter another war by sending troops to Vietnam, Buffano decided to name the work Hand of Peace.
It's a figure of peace.
Now nearly 70 years old, Buffano used only a mallet to shape quarter-inch thick sheets of copper into a massive 32-foot tall hand. He filled the armature with reinforced concrete with the hope it would last longer than 8,000 years. To preview the piece, Buffano removed his studio's roof. The landlord was not happy. He sued Buffano. In the center of his masterpiece, Buffano used nearly 1,000 pounds of tile to create a mosaic of children, symbolizing unity among diverse cultures. Above the mosaic, an inscription was to read, "The children of the world shall inherit the earth," except while working upside down, Buffano accidentally misplaced an H. Earth became hearth. Buffano figured hearths represent home and family, so he happily left the extra H. However, the city of San Francisco was not happy. After 5 hard years of work, the city refused to buy the sculpture from Buffano. Despite the city's rejection, the sculpture was still coveted. A bidding war for the Hand of Peace ensued, with Ghirardelli Square and San Francisco International Airport wanting the piece. The sculpture finally sold for $50,000, one of the highest prices paid for a work of art that year in the United States. Bill Swigert of the Pacific Bridge Company purchased Hand of Peace for one of his office parks in the city of Walnut Creek. As the scaffolding was removed, Bufano noticed a small dent in the sculpture. He became enraged and demanded the piece come down. As Bufano angrily pointed, a flock of cedar waxwings flew by with one landing on his finger. The hopeless bohemian was so charmed by the bird, he never mentioned the dent again. Because the sculpture was hidden in an office park, there was no fanfare, no news coverage, no public unveiling. Bufano passed away 3 years later. His death made national news, followed by an outpouring of tributes throughout California. Yet for the next 43 years, the largest and most expensive of his works remained in obscurity. Until one day, it was gone. In 2009, a concerned citizen called the City of Walnut Creek to report the sculpture missing. The city's investigation revealed the Chang family had acquired Hand of Peace when they purchased the office park. The family had hired Artworks Foundry of Berkeley to restore the piece. There, the hand was brought back to life over a period of 4 years. And after the armature was repaired, the Hand of Peace could not go quietly back to its office park. The Chang family agreed to loan the sculpture to the City of Walnut Creek. The Hand of Peace was placed at Civic Park. And so after over 50 years and the passing of Bufano, the Hand of Peace found a home where it could not be ignored. Henry Miller said of Bufano, "He will outlive our civilization and probably be better known, better understood, both as a man and an artist, 5,000 years hence." One piece of art can have many lives. This is the Hand of Peace.
That really is a great piece on a tour that combines art and history.
Another great combination is what you can do and what the city is preparing to do for this year's winter storms. I'm here with Rich Payne. He's the Public Works Manager for the City of Walnut Creek, and we're here to talk about rain, right?
Yes.
It's not raining right now, but it could start.
Yes, it could start any minute, actually, given the clouds.
What's the city doing to get ready for this round of El Nino?
Well, we started preparing for this year probably at the end of summer. We went around, inspected, and cleaned as necessary all the catch basins throughout the city. In areas where we know that we have flooding, we have gone through and flushed those pipes and got all the siltation out of them so that they can take as much water as they possibly can. So,
were they dirty?
Yeah, we found some siltation, but not, because we do this every year, not what you typically expect. So,
there's some hardworking guys behind us here filling sandbags.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So, in the event of an emergency, we have sandbag stations spread out throughout the city. There's 5 locations. There's one here at Heather Farm Park. We have one over at Larkey Park. We have a sandbag station at Howe Homestead off of Walnut Boulevard there. We also have one at Red Deer Park. The 5th station is over on Lancaster at Orchard. So
good work. You didn't
yes.
even know there'd be a pop quiz today.
Exactly. We know where they're at.
So can somebody just drive up and pick up bags?
Yeah,
or does it work?
So at each sandbag station we have a pile of sand like you see here, and then we have sandbags. The one thing that you won't see at each station is a shovel. And so if you need to go to these sandbag stations, bring your own shovel. We provide the sandbags and the sand, and you can help yourself to as many as you need.
That's cool. Do you think people are going to need them? I mean, I know you're not a weather forecaster, but you know, what do you expect?
I think if you have areas around your property that are prone to flooding, isolated flooding, I would be proactive. come here when it's not raining. It's a lot easier. Fill as many bags as you think you're going to need, and bank up those areas that you might be susceptible to flooding. So that would be one thing that you could do. In addition to preparing for those storm events, you can go out, and if you have a creek that's adjacent to your property or a ditch in front of your house, you can remove as much vegetation and debris from that ditch as you can in advance. Also, anything that floats, like firewood or anything that might get kind of swept away by rushing water, you want to remove that away from the ditch as far as possible. And the reason for that is that debris can cause problems downstream, and then it can affect the entire neighborhood.
Right.
So,
good. So aside from the catch basins, the sandbags, anything else that the city's kind of looking at?
Yes. What we do as well is we go around and we street sweep. We do our monthly street sweeping, and in areas where we have a lot of mature trees, where we have a lot of leaf material dropping from the trees, we go through and we hit those as necessary, and we clean up as much as we can in advance of the storm. But one of the things you mentioned, that what can the public do for us, or residents do for us, is they can go out, and when they see those catch basins and those ditches start to fill with leaf material, they can be proactive and literally rake that material out of the ditch and help us clear the debris off of the storm drain inlets. And that really helps us, and it'll actually help the neighborhood as well.
You guys recently did an exercise to get ready for when it really starts coming down, right?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So every year we have some kind of emergency response exercise. In advance of the winter, in maintenance, we have what we call a maintenance departmental operations center, and we exercise. We actually practice that with our public works staff. And basically what that is it's an efficient way to respond to, in this case, it would be flooding. We actually take all of our staff and we assign them to specific areas throughout the city. And their job is to go out and make sure and monitor the ditchways and creeks and all the storm drain inlets throughout the city. Keep those clean, respond to specific flooding events if necessary. Citizens can call if they need support for that, and the city will go out and support them. In addition to that, if the event gets more than what we can handle, we also have the ability to tap into volunteers through our CERT program. And CERT is there to support us, to help us in our response to any kind of emergency. In this case, it would be flooding.
I'm here with Nick Zubel. He is the Emergency Preparedness Coordinator for the City of Walnut Creek. Nick, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So, we're talking about rain today. What can people do to get ready when it really starts coming down, if there's a good El Nino here?
Well, I always start with our homes, and we all need to have an emergency supply kit. If you already have one, this is a great opportunity to restock it during this holiday season and make great gifts. And some of the items that you should include in your emergency supply kit, I have one actually by you, can be a first aid kit, a radio, extra batteries, a poncho, umbrella. The city's website at www.walnut-creek.org/preparedness has a comprehensive list of emergency supplies you should include in your kit. And that's really because you don't know if you might need to evacuate or if the power goes out. So I highly recommend getting yourself an emergency supply kit before any potential rain or heavy flooding.
In terms of, hours, days kind of thing, if somebody is looking at, needing one of those, what is, in your opinion, the length of time somebody's going to need to have supplies ready?
Right. Yeah. At least 72 hours.
Okay.
In case you are by yourself or with your family and first responders can't get to you due to roads being heavily flooded,
right,
etc.
People driving out,
driving.
in the rain is very dangerous, right? Can you give some tips on how to keep yourself safe there?
Well, for one thing, do not drive or avoid driving through any flooded roads or waters areas. If you do come to a flooded road, immediately turn around and look for an alternate route. If you get stuck in a flooded area, immediately evacuate your vehicle and move to higher ground. You should also have an emergency supply kit in your vehicle, similar to what you have at home.
Right. Smart thinking. I don't have that.
And as far as your vehicle is concerned, you should definitely check your windshield wipers to make sure they work properly.
Right.
And replace them if necessary. Check your lights, your flash hazard lights. Check your tire pressure. And check the tread on your tires to make sure it's adequate. Often when we don't check to see the tread on our tires, they could be much older than we realized. And vehicles can hydroplane when you hit water on major roads or freeways, causing accidents and affecting your own safety.
So there really isn't all that much work to get ready,
No.
but it can save you.
It's just basic safety tips to just be aware of in advance of any storm.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a heavy rain or heavy flooding. It could just be your typical storm that's passing through. These are things that you should be prepared for.
We seem to know what you're talking about, so I've got you. Any other good tips you can give people?
Maintain awareness, be vigilant in your community. If you're in a low-lying area that is possibly prone to flooding, such as creeks and channels that could overflow, avoid those areas. Monitor your television, your radio, the city's website, social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Nextdoor. A ton of information on weather-related alerts.
Not only are storm canals dangerous, but creeks these days look dry. But then it starts to rain, and even hours or so after that, they can really fill up, right? Tell me about that.
Yeah, as they fill up, it may appear that even if that water's moving slow at first, and during a storm, if you attempt to dump in the water, or the flow increases over time. It becomes a storm channel, and it's very, very dangerous.
If somebody's sitting at home and they see the creek in their backyard or anything else start to flood to an alarming level, what can they do? Can they call somebody?
They can report flooding during normal business hours between 7 o'clock a.m. and 4 o'clock p.m. And also contact our police dispatch after hours to report flooding.
So the overall message is to maintain awareness and be ready.
Be ready and maintain awareness.
Thanks very much, Nick.
Be safe.
All right.
Thanks. Happy holidays.
You too. Well, I'm ready for El Nino. Are you? If not, head to the city's website for more. Now, if you'd like to volunteer to help the city with their emergency efforts, head on over to the CERT website for more information.
Walnut Creek has the most active CERT program in the county, and it is always great to see people lending a hand. And we'll see you next time on Creek Currents.